grew up making games, so I wanted to make a career out of that. Shawnee being a small school was the thing that drew me to it. Shawnee is nationally ranked in the Princeton list for game design. A lot of the professors own their own businesses. That kind of prompted me to start my own business. I started a game studio. I don't think that would have been possible if the school were bigger, and Shawnee put that all together for me. I'm Dalton, and I invite you to discover Shawnee State University for yourself. Please visit discover.shawnee.edu.
So I go.
Hello and welcome back to game number 4 of SSU's tournament bracket of Drury Invitational. How do you feel that draft went there, Turtle?
The draft is I think just a tad on the awkward side because they have a lot of poke and like disengaging a bunch of team fight, and we have more like poke and sustain damage. Like we want to be able to rotate more spells and that sort of thing. So that's a little bit of a risky thing to look at. I think it's going to be very dependent on the jungle matchups here because bot lane should go in the favor of Caitlyn Morgana early. So if Udyr is able to capitalize on the advantages he has there, he should be able to maybe build up a lead, get a couple early Drakes, and maybe snowball that into an early soul or look for kills in that matter. Because also with the mid lane matchup, Karma should have the shove on Victor early because Victor needs a couple levels into his E before he can start combating the waves and poking out the Karma. So he might be able to put some bot side pressure onto the Heck Rim to punish the weaker side.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this top matchup is going to go, especially with that Fiora. I know that Fiora, unless she joins at a team fight at the right time, she's going to really struggle in team fights. So it might be in her benefit to just focus on split pushing. And if Arctic Wolf spends a lot of his time trying to roam and help out his team, Fiora's just going to get a ton of top lane map pressure, which is something that SSU doesn't seem to really do too well with is the side lane pressures. And if those lane pressures can get out of control, it's very difficult to get those back on your side unless you make a hard play for a tower or make a hard play for an objective and then get a tower off of the objective.
Yeah, and with the nature of how the teams are going to be, I think SSU is going to be looking to snowball a lot more aggressively and try to pick up any advantages that they can. That's going to be their only real reason, because the late game is on the favor of BSC because they have that Victor, they have that Ezreal, who both scale incredibly well into the late game. And Fiora will always basically have side lane pressure on Maokai after, I think, level 5-ish. I think Maokai can combat her a little bit early because his base damages are slightly better in the early game. But after that, side lane is always going to go to the Fiora, and once you hit about that 30-minute mark, a couple items are down, then Victor and Ezreal are most likely going to be able to do their work they need to do against SSU's comp.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how this is going to pay out. So good luck to SSU. Good luck to Bay State. We're about to, the spectator delay is about to end here in about 30 seconds. We're going to be entering the loading screen phase. So I'm very curious. Who do you think is going to, which lane do you think is going to be the most highly contested in this game?
I think it's definitely going to be that mid prio, because I think they're definitely going to want to combat for the bot lane dragons. Both teams want the early dragons. Both teams can fight for the early dragons. So it's going to be very much who in that mid lane can get the push and rotate the quickest. It's also because the bot lanes also go the same way, but I think the mid lane's more important since the Udyr Karma can deal with that Hecarim and Victor.
That is very true. And it'll be very interesting to see how this is going to pan out. And I feel a lot of this game is going to ride on that early game and whether or not Udyr is able to clear and get to those proper objectives as he needs, and being able to be aggressive on those without falling behind. Those are going to be incredibly important this round, and it'll be interesting to see how this is going to pan out. So I think this is going to be an exciting game, especially because they have a challenger grandmaster team, and Shawnee State, we unfortunately do not have any challengers, but we've been able to hold our own against them. So I'm excited to see how Shawnee State's going to hold up against this team as well, against Bay State, for this game here. So we're just now getting loaded in. So we're going to see how this, we're going to get loaded in, and we'll see what the plan is for SSU.
Yeah, and I think we're probably going to see a lot of action around the 8-minute mark, and then probably 15-minute mark after that, and we're going to see a bunch of fights, 4v5s for those dragons and for river control, because that's going to be very centric to both teams here. And it looks like both teams are looking to do invades most likely, as Boys is looking to do a topside invade to see where that Udyr is going to start, and SSU looks like they're going to go for their classic and go through bot lane into bot lane tribe rush.
Yeah, which is very interesting. Especially if SSU tries to invade here, they might be able to get a free red buff, and that actually may be more beneficial for them in the long run, because that might be more beneficial in the long run because their bot side can get back to bot side faster. If they decide, if that is Bay State decides to have their bot lane stay topside or take too long to rotate.
I like to see SSU just sit here and maybe wait for the Hecarim. Looks like
it looks like they're going to just do a bit of a brush camp here and see what they can get. They dropped an early ward, so they now have vision. It is now going to be a 5v4 here in this situation if the top laner if Arctic Wolf decides to stay, that is. But it looks like they're moving around here. They know that there's no bush in this. They're going for a kill here onto the Hecarim, and it looks like they are going to pick off that Hecarim almost immediately at the 122-minute mark.
This is actually very good for SSU because even though Arctic is going to be slightly late to lane, it's only going to be by a couple seconds. The only dangerous part is here is the Hecarim is actually sprinting right back. Actually, they're going to turn onto the Rel and try to see if they can burn any summoners. And they're most likely going to pick up another kill as Jerbear flashes forward, and now he's going to go try to take over this red buff. And Hecarim actually gets over and smites it away. A little misplay by Bear there, not hitting that smite since it was on his benefit to be able to get that. So now actually, even though SSU does pick up 2 kills, the fact that Jeremy is now going to have to solo do his blue buff at half HP and without level 2 is that his clear speed, which is normally pretty quickly, is going to be very stunted as Hecarim basically died and didn't have any stunted clear speeds at all.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. As we said, it all rides on this early game, and even though there were 2 kills for SSU in this trade here, I believe with the Udyr behind just a little bit in his jungle, it's going to be a struggle for him to keep up with that Hecarim as Hecarim goes around the map. Hecarim's even going to look for an invade here in the topside jungle, which is basically going to guarantee that Udyr is going to be stunted into this mid game. He's actually looking for a mid lane gank here. Humble's going for an early flash with a nice mantra heal to stay alive as he walks away from the Hecarim.
I thought the Hecarim was actually going to do a very intelligent play there. He's still going to go for the invade, but now the only issue is that Udyr's going to be able to contest those. Actually, it looks like Jabber is just going to look for it back, already giving up that top side of the map. So the Hecarim or the Udyr is going to fall very far behind the Hecarim early. He's going to be able to come back with those level 2. Are they going to gift over the red buff to the Fiora? I'm gonna see real quick because they might. No, Fiora's just coming down and make sure Hecarim can't secure that.
Yeah, so Udyr is going to be a bit behind, but he knows that his red buff and chickens are probably going to be gone. So he's going to be looking to take his Krugs and just move on. Actually, yeah, he's looking just to take his Krugs here. He knows his top side's gone. He knows he's behind by a little bit. Definitely, he's not out of this game by any means yet. Because if he can get a couple good ganks off, that can always pull him back into this. But right now, the Hecarim is definitely outpacing him in the jungle.
Yeah, and the Hecarim could have done it a little bit more impressively if he didn't go for that burn in the mid lane with the flash, but it wasn't very good to get that flash out because it does expose the Karma to ganks in the future. Arctic's doing a good job holding the wave in this state. He's got to be careful though, because since it is pushing out and away from him, he could become exposed to a gank from the Hecarim who he knows is on the top side of the map.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how this is going to go. Hecarim is now just clearing his top side with Udyr going bot side on that Scuttle Crab. With Drag coming up in about 43 seconds, Udyr could possibly look for a cheeky early Drake here. As you said, that is something that he is going to want to focus on, especially to get ahead of that Hecarim. But because he is a bit delayed with his XP in the jungle, he is going to be struggling a little bit to take that solo if he does try to take it solo.
Yeah, it looks like he I don't know the timer on his Raptors, but he is going to get his tier 4 Gromp and Wolves on basically spawn, and Hecarim, I'm actually, unironically, is actually going to fall a little bit behind now because his Krugs and Gromp and Wolves didn't get over to tier 4 as soon as the Udyr, so Udyr actually can come back in XP just a little bit, and since he got that kill early, he's not going to be missing out on too much gold.
Right, and it looks like Udyr, they have plenty of vision control on the bot side, and bot also has pressure in this case. SSU's bot lane has pressure in this case, so Udyr is going to be looking for an early dragon here. He's just pulling it out of the back of the pit, and he's just going to be taking that. Hecarim is looking to engage here on this, so let's see if SSU's bot side is going to rotate to help out. It looks like both bot lanes notice that Udyr's taking it. It looks like he's just going to back off that jungle for now. Karma is also trying to join, but she's getting zoned out by the Victor. They are now onto Dragon, and Jeremy's looking for a nice engage here, trying to steal out that Dragon. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it. Looking for the stun. Rel's going again. He is going to get taken out by the. He's going to get taken out by the Ezreal. Karma is going to get engaged on here. They're all really low. The Dragon is resetting, so they're not able to finish off the Dragon quite yet. Mitch is just looking for some nice kills here. Going to be able to get the Hecarim, and now he's going to be running as best he can. Not quite going to get away, and it looks like they are going to be able to finish off the Dragon there, and SSU isn't going to be able to secure that.
Now the thing is that even this is very bad for SSU because they can't be giving those kills onto this Victor. And Victor with his new passive this season allows him with those 4 kills to get his first set of upgrades. So now that Karma is not going to be able to actually be able to keep up with Victor's push since he now has his leveled up E. So in the end, SSU going down, I'm pretty sure 4 for 2 and losing over that Dragon, they're going to be very far stunted behind for the rest of this early game.
Absolutely. So it's unfortunate to see, especially now that they know that they have the advantage. You can see that they're trying to invade here. They have the support roaming topside, just trying to see if they can spot out that Udyr. Now going to get around behind him to try to prevent him from getting anywhere. Going to lock him down with the Rel, get a double stun. Karma's going to try to come help as she can. She's going to get a nice shield off to help him get out. Hecarim is going to ulti to try to kill him, is going to be able to get away. Karma's trying to follow here with a nice stun, not quite going to get it off. Hecarim's just a little too fast. Bot lane is now roaming up here to try to get a kill on him. Hecarim's just doing his best to run away, going to dodge the Q, and is going to get out. And now Karma now has to run away from the Victor. Not, unfortunately, not going to be able to secure a kill on the Hecarim.
Yeah, and now with Jerbear even falling further behind, he is now 2 levels down. I'm going to look at the XPs on the jungler. Hecarim just deemed 6, and Udyr is going to deem 5 off of these wolves, so he's basically an entire level down on this Hecarim at the moment. And Hecarim has an entire bot to top clear to do still, so he's going to just extend this XP lead even further. Because I'm pretty sure those are leveled up. Those are level 6 Krugs, so he is going to just get a massive lead off of the early game that has been occurring so far.
Agreed. And thankfully, this time around in this game, one thing that I noticed is different is SSU's bot lane does have a lot of pressure. Usually before they were sacrificing a lot of pressure early on this bot side of the map. So along with that pressure that they have, as long as they keep track of Hecarim and they don't let him get free ganks off, they might be able to repressure that dragon and be able to get Jeremy back into this game with some convenient sneaks on the dragon here. Looks like bot lane is going to be looking for an engage here. Rel's going to be looking to engage, going to get that ulti off onto Mitch Fortune. Mitch Fortune's now going to have to kite away as best he can. Ezreal's doing his best to try to take out the Hecarim, and it looks like we've got a top lane teleport coming in, and that's going to be 2 kills for SSU.
Yeah, and Mitch actually getting most of these kills on the side of SSU, participating in every kill this bot lane has. It's actually going to be a position that he is going to be the main source of damage and carry in these fights. So him getting a lot of these kills is going to help him be able to try to take back some of his early game disadvantages as they have happened. Hecarim's going to go for an invade, taking away those Raptors, trying to keep on furthering this lead. He does have over Jerbear in the jungle. But Jerbear is getting a bunch of solo XP on this top side, picking him up about 2 waves. You gotta be careful here. Fiora could look for an all-in, but she does not have her Vital up anymore to stun him. It looks like she's most likely going to fall here. Actually, no, Rel did come up here.
Rel is just looking to roam here. Rel knows that her bot lane is pretty safe as an Ezreal, and especially with how often they're pushing up, they're just letting that Rel roam around the map and get pressure in other lanes, basically acting like a secondary jungler at this point, being able to pull off ganks while they go ahead and let their Hecarim just continue keeping his lead by CSing in his own jungle.
Yeah, and the gold lead is in favor about 1.5k, or yeah, 1.5 in the favor. As they might try to look to see if they can do anything fancy on this Maokai. But Maokai has Aftershock and Ninja Tabby, and Fiora and Hecarim are both double AD, so nothing really is going to come up from this.
Yeah, it looks like Hecarim is going to be able to get some damage off, but unfortunately with those double buffs, Fiora just has a lot of lane pressure now to continually keep pushing up and spam abilities to poke down Maokai, who unfortunately doesn't have that ability with his high mana costs early on.
As Karma's looking to trade on the Victor, Victor going to throw down the ult and maybe try to look for a turnaround kill onto Karma, but she should just be able to E herself out of that situation.
Ooh, and she is going to get poked out just by the E. Not quite going to get taken out because the shield keeps her alive.
She might get caught by the rail though. The Karma.
It looks like Rel's looking for a dive here, but she is going to Karma is going to back in time and not going to get taken out. It looks like Maokai just backed off there. I think he was thinking he was going to get dove. Didn't quite know that jungler was, so he just backed off carefully and didn't want to get dove at all. Looks like they are going to be using Rift mid here. That is going to be a tower secure. Humble's just going to try his best to protect what he can, get some damage off as Bay State now backs off in the middle.
Now, interesting enough, because of how long they spent in the mid lane, SSU does have a small interval with Humble getting that back off for that Moonstone. They can actually pick up the second Drake here for free, and it being, I'm pretty sure, a mountain is actually very strong for their comp, being having those two beefy boys in the Udyr and Maokai. And picking up that free mountain is actually going to be very good for SSU since it's going to stunt the Infernal Soul on the side of boys.
Yep. I am I'm very glad that SSU right now is actually having a lot of pressure on this bot side of the map. Again, as I said, they didn't have it in the previous games, but if you can notice, they now have 2 plates on the bot side, so that's a lot of pressure. That's basically a weak spot that they can now crack a couple towers and potentially get extra pressure on the bot side. That would be a big advantage for SSU to hopefully find a position or an area they can snowball from.
Yeah, and looking up at the rest of these matchups, it looks like most of the gold lead is in that top lane, having a 2,000 gold lead over the Maokai. So that's going to be a very point of pressure SSU's going to do. They're looking to engage onto Mitch here.
Mitch is going to be getting engaged, and it looks like they're going to be able to take him out. Looks like Hecarim's going to be coming from behind the tower to be getting a dive onto the Morgana, and unfortunately that is going to be a double kill for the bot lane, and that's going to be some serious tower gold for Ezreal and Rel.
Yeah, it's getting very scary for SSU here as they keep on losing this play, as Humble is getting engaged on by this Victor, and he's probably going to end up going down here as the Rel and Hecarim come up from the bot side. And Fiora is looking now to turn onto Jerbear and get this 1v1 and get a solo kill.
Yeah, just that ton of true damage coming out on the Fiora ultimate, not gonna just gonna rip right through the Udyr, no matter how tanky he might be. Even though he is significantly behind, Fiora is just gonna be steamrolling with those 2 extra kills that she has and her full item now already.
Yeah, and SSU's comp was just, they very much were relying on trying to get early leads to the bot lane. Mitch is going to try to look for a solo kill onto the Ezreal, but Hecarim coming up behind him, looks like he's just going to pick up the kill on him. And unfortunately, it does look like SSU is kind of just being pulled apart at the seams at the moment, as they look to dive this Maokai now.
Yeah, it seems as though, Arctic Wolf is going to be able to turn it around, though, and is going to be able to get a kill on the Rel. Going to be able to punish the dive.
And it's very good by Arctic, recognizing that they can't actually dive him in that scenario with Fiora being low mana.
It looks like Udyr's going to be trying to come down here and look for something in the bot lane. Fortunately, the Hecarim just has his movement speed and is able to get out really easy.
Yeah, and they were going to try to see if they can pick off that Ezreal who was low. As they're actually going to try to look onto this Karma here, and it looks like Humble Burning Flash earlier is just going to end up going down.
Ooh, he's able to get out with
the
the heal. The Mantra heal is going to get him out of there of the double ultimate. Now Jeremy just has to kite away a little bit, going to get some stun off just to prevent them from chasing Karma down even more.
Hopefully Humble needs to leave this tower though, because that Hecarim can just run right at him right now.
Yep, and he is just going to be backing off here. He's just going to stay just out of reach of that Hecarim, so he can't run him down. Maokai's just sitting on the side here looking for an engage, but he doesn't really have his team with him, so he's not going to be able to find anything as Baystate just backs off here without being able to get anything.
Now, even though they do have this very large lead right now, the thing is with SSU sides having that double Moonstone setup, they will be having a lot of sustain in these later game fights. Maokai heals coming through, Karma shield and Moonstone heals, Morgana with her E and her Moonstone of her own, that they do have a lot of sustain to be able to keep rotating damage out and help mitigate the damage that is on the side of things.
I agree. It's very interesting to see how SSU is going to be playing this, because they are facing a sort of all-in team, but they've decided to opt for a sustained sort of build, which is going to be a bit weaker in terms of their play styles and how they're going to have to play out these team fights. So they're going to have to try really hard to just make sure they peel for that Caitlyn and keep her alive in these team fights, and make sure that Rel cannot get on top of her.
Yeah, and that's why you have that Morgana there. Give her the black shield that even if the Rel does get on top of your Caitlyn, the CC won't actually implement onto her, so she'll be able to get the repositioning with her Gale Force, be able to put down her traps to stop the forward momentum of the other people, and be able to start dishing out the DPS that she can do. Because Caitlyn still has a massive DPS. Even though she's not that strong in the current meta, she still is Caitlyn.
Right. And with Dragon coming up here in about 30 seconds, 25 seconds, it looks like SSU is now grouping all 5 to the bot side. They're keeping Fiora in that side lane to push out. It looks like they're going to be looking for a kill here on the Victor. Stun going to come off on Jeremy. Jeremy going to flash over the root. Not going to be able to get it, and they're going to find a kill onto the Victor. That's a very big pick, because that means SSU now has extra pressure on the Dragon with only 3 people on the bot side of the map. in order to contest this dragon here. It looks like Bay State is going to be making a play for the tower and not for the dragon in this case. So SSU is going to have to polish this off really quick and be able to get back to base to defend that inhibitor.
Yeah, SSU needs to actually get some. Honestly, it would be misplay by Bay State, because I don't think if they take that inhib, it's going to give so much free gold and XP over, as Hecker's looking to try to just go in 1v3.
He's not going to find a kill, unfortunately, though, and it looks like SSU is going to be able to pick him off as they had 2 teleports down to try to fight out back line. Fiora is going again onto the Udyr, going to be able to find that kill really easy with the damage that they've got off. Victor is now back into the fight and is just going to absolutely melt the Caitlyn in the back line. Arctic Wolf now going to have to run for his life here as he's trying to disengage. Going to throw his plants into the bush to slow them down. He's just going to try to keep running as best he can to get out. They just want to stall him at this point. They don't want him to back. They know that they've got this pressure topside. They're going to try to get this tower here. That's now an exposed inhibitor, and it might even be an inhibitor kill if they can keep this pressure at the topside.
And even though SSU did pick up a few shutdowns, most likely Arctic will fall down here. I think he should just bite the dust instead of wasting the time, so he's able to get back on the map a little bit sooner. Because now if he died a little bit sooner instead of running around, he would have probably actually respawned right now to help pressure back on the map. But with this being said, Jerber needs to watch out. He might actually get caught here because he is flashless right here on this Udyr.
It looks like Hecarim bot side. He's going to proc that phase rush and he's going to run away as best he can. The fear going to be coming down from the Hecarim. Not going to find the kill. Black Shield going to keep him alive from the charge. Humble Gamer looking to get on top of that Hecarim on the side there. Not quite going to find the kill. Going to blast plane over the wall.
And on the top side of the map, Ezreal actually got a solo kill on the Mitch there. I'm just gonna go back and see what ended up happening there. We can get a little more context behind that kill. It looks like he just, with his 2-level lead, he just caught Mitch out, just walking into the jungle and just took down.
Udyr's trying his best to chase this Ezreal down here. I don't know if he's going to be able to get a kill here. Ooh, he kites around perfectly around the ultimate, but Ezreal's just dishing out the damages and kiting away from the Udyr. Udyr's just doing his best to stay alive now, and he's now going to run away here. He almost was able to kill the Ezreal. That was very good by the Udyr and Ezreal, both well played on that part, and both of them managed to escape without taking down the other.
Yeah, and I think it's just unfortunate on SSU's behalf because I think they are making the right plays and the right things to try to come in this game, back into this game, but they just have a 12k gold disparity right now. Every lane's behind on gold, so it's just so hard to try to take combat stats in this fight and take winning positions. Because Karma could potentially get caught out here because Victor does have that phase rush and W slope, but she's just going to be able to eat herself out.
Yeah, SSU is now, once again, they've lost those side lane map pressures. They've lost the mid lane map pressure. They have all first tier towers to crack, and they don't really have the minions to be able to push up on these side lanes. They don't have anyone who can sit in the side lane and contest the Fiora. So SSU looks as though they want to try to fight something with this the 4v5 lead. But with how strong Bay State is right now, it's very difficult to be able to take any fights without losing to this 4v5 situation. Now, as you can see, Hecarim is getting quite low on this Baron here, and SSU does have them spotted out. So Bay State is going to be forced off the Baron. They're not going to be able to take it, as SSU is now looking for a way to just clear their topside jungle and then defend mid here as Bay State now rotates to take out the towers.
As Victor's on the side, getting a little poke damage off as Rel jumps in.
Huge ulti on the backline on both carries for SSU. Rel going to be able to take both of them out. Q going to be coming in from Ezreal to finish off the Karma, and Hecarim's just going to run down the Caitlyn and unfortunately find a kill, and that's going to be a free Baron for Bay State.
Yeah, and it's going to sound pessimistic, but I feel like SSU might just be too far behind at this moment because they're down 14k. They're picking up the Baron here. I'm pretty sure the Hecarim has a Rip Herald still in his back pocket. So I feel like after this Baron's getting down, it might just be a matter of time before they're able to close out this game.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for SSU. They just lost that snowball early game. I think it all stemmed from that Udyr kill. SSU were looking so good at the start, but unfortunately what happened is they just lost that red buff and Udyr got put so behind, especially after the invade on Hecarim, that now it's a struggle for Udyr to do that early pressure. And now that we're entering the mid to late games phase, Udyr just loses all of his pressure in these final stages of the game, and he just becomes a stun bot and tank, as he is now trying to contest the Hecarim and Rel, who can basically prevent him from engaging his team.
I think Jeremy's going for the only likelihood state that they can do to try to come back in this game is to just go for Miracle Steal, and he's not able to get this fight down. But yeah, I think in this current game state, that is the right play to do, because I guess your only hope is to hold out for this Baron, wait out 5 minutes, and potentially steal away the soul to get the extra combat stats that you are lacking at this point in the game.
Yeah, and it looks like SSU's right now, once again, they're just doing they're trying Hail Mary plays here or there, trying their best to stay alive, and it looks as though they're just going to be getting dove right under tower. Arctic Wolf getting shredded by the front line, going to be taken out by the Hecarim and the Ezreal ult combined, and it looks like they're going to get 2 inhibitors here, and it looks like Bay State might be able to finish out this game here.
Yeah, it looks like they are just going to end up finishing this game out here, because they got the Baron, they got the Rift Herald, 2 members of SSU are dead. They're going to try to make some last-ditch effort to take out the Ezreal, but Jerbear is just going to get run down by the Fiora.
And that is game.
And this is a best of 3, so SSU will have a chance to bounce back in game 2. Maybe just try to switch up the draft a little bit, try maybe get more things that can combat the side of BSC.
Yep. All right. And we're going to go to a quick break as we come back to game number 4, set 2 of SSU versus Bay State.
You would not be dead in the void.
Happy to sit this one out. Afraid of the dark.
This gentleman from me? Cool, cool.
So I go.
All right, welcome back. This is Game 4, Set 2 of Bay State versus SSU. We have Turtle back on the mic with me, casting once again. Just got out of Picks and Bans, and so if our spectator would like to go over to Picks and Bans, we can chat a little bit about the choices here and the Picks and Bans phase and how it went.
Okay, so you looking at the picks and bans, they drafted very early in their first 3 picks, lots of AD. They picked Caitlyn, Graves, and Nar in their first 4 rotations and left Malphite open. And Nar gets absolutely destroyed by Malphite. Ever since we already had Seraphine, Rel, and Hecarim from the first 3, we just followed up with the Malphite to give us that super tank. And honestly, and then we just threw MF on top just to go for the full team fight power, just to try to just absolutely just obliterate them in an instant and just win our fights through that.
Yeah, and knowing that we have a Rel Seraphine, basically covering that backline for the MF, that MF is the Silas, Graves, and Gnar are going to have a really tough time getting to the MF, as long as they're able to prevent the Gnar from jumping into the backline. If they can prevent any hard team-wide CC coming from them, this should be a very good team fight aesthetic. They just need to be very careful and play around that Silas, because the Silas can easily nab any one of these really big ultimates and completely abuse them in a team fight, which could literally turn a team fight in an instant if SSU isn't careful and doesn't play around it. So,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, because I was gonna say the only real hope that BSS does have is that Silas can take that Seraphine, or more likely that Malphite R, and that is their hard engage. The only issue is that if the Seraphine layers her R on top of Silas's engage, they might not be able to follow up on it effectively enough to actually be able to take a team fight. And that's the one thing you have to look out for, that they could potentially get the engage options, but they're also SSU has so many of their own. It might just overwhelm them even in that case.
Exactly, because Silas has got one option, SSU has 5. So they're going to be looking for some very hard, heavy engages on the enemy team. And if they can get them off, and I would like to see dives. I think SSU has a very good dive comp, and they could pull off some very spicy dives if they're able to accomplish that. And if they can use those early dives to potentially get a big lead against this team, they can actually pick up where they usually lack in the early game and basically make up for what they have struggled with in these previous games.
Yeah, I think looking at this is probably, if the game just plays out normally and there's no like random deaths or random shenanigans, if SSU just plays a nice clean game and they just sit back, they farm up, even if they're down 10 to 15 CS, their raw team fighting power can make up for those missing items or stats they could be falling behind in. They just have to make sure that it doesn't explode to a 12K gold lead like last game. If it gets to that point, it's just going to be hard for them to come back, because it's always hard to fight back from a 10K above deficit. But if they keep it within 2 to 3K, their team fighting stats should just be too much and it's probably just going to end up overwhelming the enemy.
One thing to note too is the Graves did not take flash, and so that's going to be something that if SSU can take advantage of and they can notice and they can catch that Graves out, especially with the Hecarim and the composition they have, that's going to be a priority target in team fights, to basically make sure you kill them before you go onto an objective. So essentially, SSU should have free objective control if they're able to catch out the Graves at any given moment.
Yeah, I think that's also another that's a misplay, I feel like, on the side of the Graves, because he's gonna have to flash like a Hecarim ult. He's gonna have to flash a Malphite R. He doesn't have that like option of just instant flashing something and not getting hit by it. Like, he's gonna be catching everything right to his face.
Right, and it's going to be it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. SSU is opting not to do their typical 5-man invade here. They're looking to just play that safe 5 stack across map. Gnar is just trying to poke out the Malphite, but he's sitting pretty comfortable with his passive shield popping up every so often. Karma just getting some early free damage off in the Seraphine, so Seraphine's just backing off and playing safe there. So just a couple skirmishes here or there as they try to get some damage off and poke each other out before the laning phase begins. So nothing too interesting. I think what we're going to be seeing here a lot this game is we're going to see a lot of bot lane pushed in once again. SSU's bot lane is going to be pushed into tower, and we're going to have to see a lot of objective and ward control in the bot side, mainly because if there's enough ward control and if SSU is constantly pushed in again, Hecarim should be able to get some free ganks off against the Caitlyn Karma. Because Caitlyn Karma are inherently not as mobile as some other ADCs that we've seen in the series today.
Yeah, and also with that is that the only options BSC has is that they have to try to get an early advantage off of the double range into a melee. That's what they have to look to try to punish early, and it looks like they're trying to do right now. Because once like level 4 to 5 happens, SSU can actually combat them and is able to fight them. If you are going to see Graves is already with that Ignite looking for an early invade with the bot lane / mid lane pressure he does have. Jabber does have phase rush, so he's just going to go to his top side.
Yep, they're going to have to be very careful though, because as with SSU pushing up, if they take too much damage before they actually decide to fight, they're going to be in a bad spot to be able to fight, because they're either they will have either blown summoners or be too low to engage. And so that's definitely not something that SSU is going to want to be able to do. And against this bot lane here, we're already seeing this, how it's going in the bot lane. Just the constant push from the Caitlyn Karma, just endless poke, being able to prevent this team from being able to prepare for them to be able to all in here. Seraphine getting engaged by the Sylas, but Seraphine turning around a little bit. Going to have to force the flash out, which is unfortunate, because as I said earlier, that's going to be very, very scary for SSU to blow early summoners here, because that's exactly what BSC is going to want. They want to blow those early summoners. They want to get this early map pressure, and SSU is going to just be giving it to them in this current state. And if they aren't careful, they aren't going to have abilities to be able to combat BSC as the objectives begin to pop up around the map.
Yeah, and I think one thing is that Jeremy's kind of stuck at the moment. He doesn't know what he needs to do. He's kind of just like walking around aimlessly because he can't find camps to take off the map. He's going to walk into the Graves here, and since the Graves does have Ignite, he does win that 1v1, but looks like they're just going to disperse. Now he will have his Krugs coming up, and so he's going to be able to get those camps. And he was able to pick up the Wolves on the side of the Graves' camp, so he's going to stay relatively closer to CS compared to what happened in the previous game.
And seeing that Hecarim's at 20 CS right now with Graves at 18, it seems as though the engage coming from just the constant pressure in the early jungle by Graves is actually putting him behind, because that's allowing Hecarim to just pick up camps where he can and getting the free full clears as fast as he possibly can. Rel, of course, getting poked out by the Karma, unfortunately, so SSU is going to have to be careful here, because they are now poked out to the point where they have to play safe under tower, and they definitely don't want to force any unnecessary engages here on the bot side.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing is that even though Graves is doing all this counter jungling, I think he actually is going to pick up the Wolves, as Silas is going through a little short trade. Graves' own camps aren't ranking up. Even though he has been in the face of Hecarim this whole game, he is not taking his top side and leaving his Gromp exposed, so he's losing a lot of value in that pit space. Because Humble actually might get solo killed in the mid lane.
Yeah, Humble did not have his flash in this case, and he was playing a little bit forward. Silas is being aggressive, and with that pressure in the jungle, Silas knows he can be aggressive because he has nothing to worry about getting attacked or ganked by the Hecarim.
Yeah, and I think that's just Humble just being a little bit greedy on the wave. I think he might have tried to push it too hard, and now Jeremy is getting very much punished and is now allowed to take his own camps, because they're going to actually try to look to turn him, most likely kill him here. And this is the one thing that couldn't be happening for SSU. They can't be losing all these like small skirmishes and giving over free gold to the side of the BSC, because it's just going to make them fall behind and unable to fight for these early drinks that they should basically secure.
Yeah, and they're losing a lot of priority early, which was anticipated, but what they're going to have to do is they're just going to have to put a lot of early wards down, and they're going to have to be careful. Oh, it looks like we're getting an engage here from the bot side. Rel going to be going in here, going to be trying to get a kill. Graves coming in from the side, going to be able to secure a kill onto the Rel. So unfortunately, even with SSU trying to get engages, it's so hard for them to do anything with Graves just constantly up in the face of Hecarim and just completely having control over the blue side jungle.
Yeah, and with how this mid lane, Humble needs to be careful here. He actually could get solo killed here again with Silas hitting the 6. Looks like he's just going to get his W and be able to get out safely. Silas burning his old ultimate. Jabber is going to try to use this to be able to pick up some camps of his own, but Graves is sniffing it out and he's going to turn onto the Hecarim. It was just going to pop Ghost, but he's going to walk right into the Gnar, and he's most likely going to fall here.
Jeremy trying his best to get away from the Gnar. Unfortunately, Gnar's just going to follow with a hop and be able to get that Excite. Malphite came in here on the backside. He teleported you. They do have the Seraphine ultimate, which isn't going to land, unfortunately. And Seraphine is going to have to try to get away from the Silas in the backside. Malphite's doing his best to chase down this Graves and is going to be able to secure that kill onto the Graves. So now Gnar has turned his attention to the Seraphine. Seraphine is going to fall here. Silas going onto the Malphite. Malphite is going to fall. Unfortunately, it is now 1-6 for BSE.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like Malphite could have actually killed the Silas on the side because he could have barred over the wall. I don't know if that would have changed anything, but I feel like SSU was trying to force a little too much at some points. I don't think Jeremy needs to go for that invade. If he was going to look for an invade, he knows Graves is backing and going to his top side. Maybe he goes invade the bot side of the map. The thing is, Graves is building up such a massive lead over him right now. He has all these camps that he can pick up, and it looks like Jeremy's going to go for another invade, but Graves is just going to be in his face. Or no, he's just picking up crab. Never mind.
Yeah, he's just going to pick up this crowd to make sure they have vision on the dragon, mainly because dragon's going to be a big contested thing in this game, especially with how early Bay State has the early pressure in the jungle. They're definitely going to be wanting to look for an early dragon. However, they don't really have too much sustain in terms of getting onto that dragon. So if they're able to catch them on dragon and taking that damage, SSU might be able to get a good team fight off and be able to take out priority targets to secure the dragon and potentially turn the lead back in their favor.
Yeah, and that's one thing to look out for is that SSU still has all these team fighting ultimates that they can try to turn this game around on. So and honestly, Bay State not taking this early dragon is actually, I think, is a mistake on their behalf because they have so much pressure and viability. Let the Hecarim get a couple. Actually, they're going to try to turn and kill the Hecarim again, and they're going to be able to get the kill on him.
It's unfortunate to see that the Hecarim is just being constantly pressured in his jungle, unable to clear as Bay State just constantly keeps track of this Hecarim with the jungle timers, knowing exactly where he's going to be and when he's going to be there. And they're using that early skirmish pressure that they have to completely slow down the scaling of this endgame teamfight composition that SSU has built.
Yeah, hopefully, I feel like if Graves keeps up with these invades, they're going to try to engage on the bot lane.
Engage in the bot lane here. Engage in the top lane, so that's a shutdown on the top side, which is really good for the Gnar. MF going in on the bot lane here, trying to get a kill onto the Caitlyn, not quite going to get it. Unfortunately, Hecarim is going to fall here on the top side. MF trying her best to take out the bot side and is going to get a kill, but unfortunately is going to fall to the Caitlyn, which is going to give her a double kill.
Yeah, it looks like just the snowball effect is happening again for SSU, is that Bay State keeps making the right counter plays and plays in general that they're able to keep on capitalizing on the oversteps that SSU is making. SSU is forcing, I think, maybe they're not forcing too much. I thought there was a bigger level lead in the bot lane, but they're losing so much all over the map that it's making it very difficult for them to be able to abuse the team fighting ultimates that they have at their disposal.
Yeah. There's some huge shutdown gold across the map though, and I think what SSU needs to start doing is warding within their own jungle, and they need to just start prepping for those endless dives that is just that are constantly happening. They need to understand that those are coming, and they need to catch Bay State by surprise by knowing that they're going to invade and completely taking them out.
And it's just Jeremy is just getting completely locked out of this game so far. As Humble's gonna get engaged on the mid lane. Just get a nice chunk out on him.
Ooh, ultimate not going to land for the Seraphine. That's unfortunate because that means she now has to back off and has no way to be able to protect herself under tower.
But the thing is, it's just so hard for SSU to play this game because they can't give the necessary pressure. As Humble is actually might get dove in the mid lane, but he might be able to get a turnaround kill. But he gets sniped off by that Q.
Just a little bit too much damage. I think he got a little bit too he went a little bit too aggressive. As soon as he was out, he went back in and was just not expecting the Q from Silas to be back up as soon as it was, and unfortunately was punished for that.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate for Jerber on this Hecarim. He just can't seem to get off his feet. Even though Graves isn't taking his own jungle, it just seems that he is taking every single camp that Jerber has. So even though Jerber could try to get some, he just can't get anything. So he's looking and he's forcing on positions of the map that he can't be forcing just to try to get as much gold or XP that he can. Because he's currently down 3 levels right now. As they're going to try to see if they can pick off the bot lane.
Yep. He finally got 6, and they're looking for that bot lane attack. They're finally getting on top of that Caitlyn, and they are going to be able to get that shutdown goal. Unfortunately, he goes over to the Rel and not to the Misfortune. This is what I want to see Jeremy start. Yep. This is what I want to see Jeremy start doing. If Jeremy is able to start pressuring lanes and is able to start pressuring these ganks here, this is where their team fight is going to start shining. These small skirmishes that have been happening the whole time. Ooh, big engage. MF ulti coming out onto 2 members of BS. They're going to have to fall. MF now kiting away from the Graves. Hecarim going onto the Graves once again. Karma Shield going to keep him alive a little bit longer. Graves turning once again onto the Hecarim. MF is going to get stunned down and ulted and is going to fall to the Graves.
And I'm pretty MF does pick up that shutdown on Silas that I think it was a 1,000 gold shutdown. So MF got a lot of gold into her pocket there. So she's gonna be able to start combating a little bit more into these fights that are going to be coming up. SSU is able to start picking up some of these shutdowns, but they're still losing just as much. They're losing the Jerbear's jungle again. He just can't get any of these camps. Graves is going
at this point, Graves just owns the blue side jungle. It is his jungle, and it's unfortunate because there's just nothing that they're going to be able to do. And it looks like they're going to go for a dive here. Oh, big ultimate coming out from Seraphine. Going to be able to take out 1 member of BS as they now have to back off and cannot push that tower. Godzilla Flip looking for an engage here onto the Caitlyn, who is now all alone in the mid lane, and that kill is going to be go over to the MF, who is now going to slowly start steamrolling with that advantage.
And with this counter matchup in the top lane, it looks like Nara is actually most likely just going to get out. But as you can see, that top lane matchup is going in the favor of Wolf, who was able to pick up a couple early kills. SSU is now having these ultimates. I think Bay State is just getting a little bit too aggressive, giving SSU openings to actually be able to take this game back into their control. Because every little goal that they get, every little kill, or just amount of pressure that is relieved is astronomical for SSU because it's going to increase all their gains. Those 2 kills that happened, or that kill that happened, the pressure that was put off, Jerbear is finally actually able to farm his topside camps for the first time this entire game.
Right, and the more that the Bay State stalls this game out, the more that they stall this game out, the more that SSU is going to be getting closer to that team fight peak that they've been wanting this whole time. And Hecarim now being able to slowly but surely work his way back into this game. His ultimates, regardless of how late they are, he's still going to be doing a lot. Unnecessary engage flash by the Rel there, looking for something that just wasn't there. So now she's going to be flashless for this next upcoming team fight. Hecarim trying to look for a fight onto the Gnar, going to be forcing him to Skybreaker out. Ooh, engage coming out from the Silas. Silas going to be looking for an engage here. MF ulti going to be coming out. Full MF ulti hits the Silas. Silas is low, now has to back up. Seraphine is going to fall. Teleport going to be coming out from the Malphite. Malphite going to get trapped, having to look for a re-engage here. He's looking for an ulti. Godzilla Flip is going to fall, going to get a final stun before he falls. And now you've got Hecarim in the mid lane here, just trying to clear waves to prevent the tower from falling. And we've got Mitch now having to back off. He just has no health to be able to re-engage.
And I think SSU just went a little bit too much on the extra, trying to overcommit and end up losing Godzilla Flip on the back of that. and they almost got the kill off on that Silas, but he just has so many levels into his W and other abilities that he's just able to sustain through that max damage MF ult. Because they're going to be able to pick up this Mountain Dragon who's going to boost their defensive going into the mid game here.
And it's really scary to see that it's really unfortunate to see that the Rel burnt her flash so early on in the mid lane. Just lost that engage potential that she had onto the enemies, or even disengage potential that she could have potentially survived with an unnecessary flash in the mid lane.
Yeah, and looking at this is and once again they're invading onto Geobear. This level lead is just not closing, as that's making it so hard for them to try to take these fights, because right there Silas overcommitted, but he's just so far ahead. Karma was there to keep him up. Humble is probably gonna get caught up in the mid lane again because he's just slightly overextended. Burning the flash.
Good flash out just in time, but unnecessary flash once again. Trying to push up for that CS, trying to catch back up to that Silas, but unfortunately just pushing up in a lane right now at this point where red team has so much control over red or blue side jungle. It's going to be very difficult for them to even push up in the lane. Malphite right now should not be sitting at a tower. It's a low tower, and if he stays here any longer, he is going to be poked out and he is going to be engaged on and is going to die under tower.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to fall down because he's just finally rotating up onto that top side of the map. Rampaging now on this Graves. They're probably going to look into this Rift Herald and try to start closing in the thing. And the problem is SSU is picking up these waves, but they're picking them up together onto like Humble and onto the Mitch Fortune. So the fact is that they're falling even further behind because they're starting to share XP now too.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. I do think that SSU still has a chance in this game, despite the big gold lead. They have a decent amount of kills on the MF and a decent amount of items that if they're able to force a team fight, because they're still fighting these small skirmishes all over the map, and SSU has been wanting to aim for a team fight, but just haven't been able to get the team fight they're looking for. And so they just have to keep stalling until they can find that perfect team fight and potentially turn this game around.
Yeah, they do have 5 ultra powerful team fighting ultimates. They have a Rel ult that stacks on top of an MF ult, that stacks on top of Seraphine, that stacks on top of Malphite, and then on top of a Hecarim. They can just CC lock and do so much damage with those ultimates that even with this gold disadvantage, if they can hit it and time it right, they could just turn a fight around. But the thing is, they have to find that fight. As Hecarim's able to spy away his own red buff to be able to get some of his camps, Rift Herald going down in the bot lane. Misfortune is in this top lane, and I think Humble needs to leave this turret here because he's very low on HP and is very exposed to a dive at the moment.
Yeah, he's once again trying to push up, but he's got his team finally with him, so he's probably just going to want to hang back and wait to see if he can find a good ultimate to disengage. Because right now, Bay State has just got so much pressure on the end of the map. Oh, and it looks like they're going to be going on to the Mitch Fortune here. Mitch Fortune going to be doing his best to take out the Gnar. Unfortunately, he is going to fall. Not quite going to be able to get the kill he's looking for.
Yeah, I think he was doing the classic MF thing where you just sit there and ult the wave after he had to disconnect his ult, so he's able to walk out. They're trying to see if they can find the Caitlyn here, but they're just in the base of SSU right now, diving the Nexus turrets.
Yeah, and they're just keeping that pressure on the bot side of the map. They got it early, and they're going to continue keeping that pressure. They understand that they have control of the map right now, and so SSU is doing their absolute best to just hide under these towers and look for a decent fight. But with the amount of poke and range that Bay State has, it's very difficult for SSU to find an engage here.
Yeah, I just think they just need to maybe just give a bot tower or something and just look to force a 3v5 fight. They need to try to force something just to stall this game out a little bit for their favor. They need to try to get these kills and get these shutdowns that are on this Graves. So if they can get that shutdown onto Mitch, it's going to put him so much farther closer to this Caitlyn. Because he's not that far away from Caitlyn or the other members. If he can get that almost 1,000 gold shutdown on Grave, it's going to be able to put him on par with some of the other carries that are on Bay State's side.
Exactly. And it's going to be very important for SSU to constantly do their best to make sure that they don't get caught. And unfortunately, we see Humble get caught right here as now Jeremy's trying to back that up with the Karma Shield going in and keeping him alive. And that's just unfortunate to see. And another big thing that we see that's SSU is struggling a lot with is they built an all-in comp here, and they're facing a mostly poke composition. And with the amount of poke that they have, they get poked out before they can force one of those all-in engages. As you can see, they're still doing these small skirmishes all over the place, and SSU hasn't been able to get out of this skirmish phase. It's just constantly it's constantly engaged, and no matter what SSU does, they're struggling to find that fight, the golden fight that they are trying to fish for. They just can't find it.
Yeah, and as Bay State heads into the more mid game, they're gonna just start picking up Baron, picking up Cloud Drakes, taking camps away again, just keep on stunting SSU's growth. Like Bear is nearly 5k down. The Rel almost has more gold than him, not too far off. He's just so stunted that it doesn't matter how much gold, any amount of gold he gets is enough to him at the moment.
Yeah.
And is he just gonna walk into the Hecker? He's gonna have to probably burn his ult here. As Graves is just taking on this 2v2 fight.
Oof, doing his just MF trying to do her best to kite away from the Graves, and unfortunately just gonna get a double kill here. Graves just stomping the jungle right now with how far ahead he is, knowing that he's got that strength. MF or the Malphite ulti coming down, not quite going to be able to get a kill there, but the Seraphine is going to be able to get that shutdown gold on the Graves finally. But he is going to step right onto the Caitlyn trap and is unfortunately going to get finished off with the headshot.
Yeah, and he does end up picking that gold up, which actually gives him enough to be able to complete some of these items he are sitting on. He does have that Moonstone Staff of Flowing Water stuff. They're going to push to try to take off this glass tower, but they might overextend a bit as the respawns are coming in on SSU side, as the Karma might go down.
Karma is going to go down to the MF. MF is going to be able to secure a kill here, so now MF is looking bot side. I don't think MF is going to be able to take out this Caitlyn. Caitlyn just has so much damage right now with that double buff. It's very difficult to be able to look for a kill. Rel going to be engaging here, going to be looking for the kill onto the Caitlyn. The Ignite is going to finish off the Caitlyn, but the Silas healing is just going to keep him alive and take out the Rel.
The unfortunate thing on that top side, Nars just been pushing that whole time, ending up taking his own inhibitor, and now is pressuring that Nexus tower as Silas flashes in onto the Humble Gamer and is going to take him down with an ace. And he's going to pick up that bot lane inhib as well.
Yeah, and SSU is just trying their absolute best right now to just hold this together, and that gold lead is just so big at this point that it's very, very difficult for them to find anything. They took that Bay State right now took that early lead in the jungle and have just been absolutely obliterating Shawnee State by constantly keeping this pressure and not giving them a break.
Yeah, and Shawnee State, they need to just honestly, they need to try to get every member up, get all their ults, and just try for one Hail Mary fight where they just throw absolutely everything and just try to win through sheer power of ultimates. Even though they have this goal disadvantage, there could be that small hope that everything plays out right. They might be able to just get enough to be able to start trying to come back into this game.
With 3 inhibitors down, though, this is going to be a very tough game for SSU to come back, and unfortunately, I don't know if they will be able to. This is coming down to the wire right now. Rel's going to be going in for the ultimate. Not quite going to be able to find the things she's looking for. A big Seraphine ulti coming down. Malphite MF ulti going to be finishing off. Nar's going to jump to the backline and cancel the MF ulti. And unfortunately, that is going to be SSU. That's 4 kills. And it looks like Bay State is going to finish out this game here.
Yeah, it's just SSU fell way too far behind in that early game, and Bay State was able to snowball the lead they had, and they were able to take down SSU here in this game too.
Yeah. Thank you very much for watching, and unfortunately, SSU wasn't able to pull out a win today, but they sure did play hard. They played against some Grandmaster Challenger teams. They held their own, and they did their absolute best, and we gotta love our Bears for that. So thanks for everything. Thanks for sticking by, and we will see you later.